what was Jesus' opinion of same-sex marriage, which we could find in the same book where he claims he's deciphering Jesus' view of the war in Iraq. Wouldn't it be interesting to hear his response to that? And we get it from our politicians, too. I went on in that same article to mention that John Kerry invokes the Bible when he's talking about climate change. When they ask his real abortion, oh, well, personally, I'm against it. Personally, I think it's murder. But if you want to go out and have
that's
one,
always their
that's
out.
okay.
But Bob, that's always their out, isn't it? You know, I'm personally, but then that's why they're so transparent, because it's crap.
It is crap because they think that by saying they're personally against it,
right,
then the people more on the right are going to buy into that. But you know, these same people. I had a conversation with a fellow who told me he was an atheist. He just watched one of my debates, and he says the real problem that I have with Christians and theists is when they try to invoke their religion. And I said, well, give me an example. He said, well, abortion. You don't have a right to talk about abortion. If that's your own religious view, that it's wrong. And I said, well, I mean, one could be against abortion without being religious. We're just talking about human life. I said, let me ask you a question. Martin Luther King, should he have had his march on Washington against segregation? I mean, he did that not only as a Christian, but a Christian minister. The Reverend Martin Luther King, he quoted the Bible constantly. He goes, oh, well, that was different. That was okay. I said, okay. And you're not really of the opinion that religion doesn't belong in the public discourse. It just has to be public discourse that you happen to personally agree with. And there's the hypocrisy. And then we have Nancy Pelosi giving us lectures about how Jesus would let illegal immigration into our country. But saying Mrs. Pelosi, she's against abortion, same tired dribble. As a Catholic, I'm against it, but as a politician, I can't allow it. They're cherry-picking their causes. It's inconsistent. I think they have a right to say anything they want about religion. Even if I think they're doing a horrible snip job on the Bible, which they are, they still have a right. I would stand by their freedom of speech, but it works both ways. And when they try to cherry-pick their cause to saying religion is a faux pas if it comes from the right, but it's acceptable if it comes from the left, that's the hypocrisy.
Oh, see, exactly. And let me again pick up on your term cherry pick. Not only do they cherry pick their causes, they cherry pick their religions, because obviously,
exactly.
and maybe yes. let me turn it around to a question to you, because we want to hear what you think. But why do they do that in terms of railing against Christianity every opportunity, blame right-wing Christians for everything, yet cheerlead for Islam?
Well, it's really interesting because Islam, prior to 9/11, if you went out to a college campus, and of course liberal causes percolate on college campuses 10 to 20 years before they get into the society at large, out on college campuses, the atheists and the feminists, they were just as much against Islam. After 9/11, it became a politically correct religion. And I think just because the left has it in their head that anything that's an American cause is somehow wrong. And you would think that, when feminists talk about this war of women that Republicans are supposedly on because somebody has to pay $9 for birth control, and yet they'll defend Muslim countries where a woman can get her hand cut off just for teaching. And the only moderate Muslims are people that think, well, we're going to cut off a couple of fingers instead of a hand. It's a joke. And I think it's the political correctness. Even though radical Islam is a real threat, the bigger threat is the political correctness. Political correctness is like the enabling battered wife who defends what her husband does and makes excuses for him, and then endangers her children in the process. Obama and a lot of people on the left are acting like a battered wife, and the Muslims have a term for them, the same term the communists used to have, useful idiots.
Bingo.
Yeah, because when these kinds of things happen, you can imagine that they're chuckling. The call for sanctions and what did the president say the other day that unlike Jordan, which actually did something, Obama will say something along the lines of, we as citizens of the world community cannot allow this type of thing to stand, and etc. Or, that they heard his comments at the prayer breakfast the other day. Let's go back 1,000 years. Christianity has its difficulties as well.
Yeah, and you usually have to go back 500 to 1,000 years to find those examples.
Well, yes. My point about that is that people on the left hear that kind of stuff and find it wise. The folks that are trying to kill us just find it evidence of weakness.
Yes, because in the Islamic faith, that's considered a sign of weakness. I mean, a lot of these Muslim terrorist organizations and countries, they did not like George Bush, but they respected George Bush. They may actually like Obama, but they do not respect Obama, and they plan to make mincemeat out of him. It's amazing. Our president, Benjamin Netanyahu, from the only democratic country in the Middle East, wants to speak to Congress. That concerns him. Iran, that claims Israel should be wiped off the face of the earth, that there was really no Holocaust, but actually it wouldn't be a bad idea if we had one. They want to wipe out every Jew in the world. And America, they're developing the nuclear bomb. That doesn't concern him. And he thinks if he makes some kind of deal with them, they won't do it. What's he going to do next? Send him a dozen roses and a box of See's candy and then think they'll back off their nuclear armament? This guy he would be a joke if he wasn't so dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so
that's
listen.
Exactly right.
All right, so Michael, it's apparent we could. He's like us. He likes to talk, and he says profound things. You and I are still working on that. But Bob, we got about 9 minutes. Actually, about 7, and we have to have you back on because next time we'll have to have one of our famous telethons. But I want to talk about the dangerous Christmas ornament. I was not aware of it until this morning, so I got on Amazon. And I want to quickly read the folks just a little bit of the description of the book. This is fascinating, and we want you to talk about it. What kid could resist a chance to wish for anything he wanted, even if he knew he was flirting with certain danger every time he made a wish? 12-year-old Mike Owen has received a special present from his eccentric Aunt Lorene, magic Christmas ornament. The ornament functions as a kind of Aladdin's lamp with a unique twist. Each time Mike's wish is granted, something bad happens to another person. That got my attention. I'm going to get it this afternoon. So tell us about it.
Yeah, it's a story I wrote a long time ago and sent it out to a lot of friends to test it out. And I've had people read it to their preschool age kids. I myself, I write a lot of plays, and I did it as a one-man oral interpretation performance to a group of college students, about 70 of them at Arizona State. They loved it. I've had people in middle school, adults. Adults will like it in the sense that movies like A Christmas Story are popular, or The Wonder Years, or I'll Rarely Date Myself, Leave It to Beaver, where adults enjoy it because the kids are so realistic and it's so fun to go back and laugh at what it was like to look at the world through the eyes of a kid. But then kids themselves love it because they're just tracking with the story. It's told by a 12-year-old. It's told in the first person. I write it as if a 12-year-old really wrote it, which means it's not always grammatically correct. And of course, that was a real challenge with computers these days with their autocorrect and stuff. Don't correct that. Don't correct that. That's the way the kids supposed. I hate it when a computer tries to help me and I'm not asking for its help. But anyway, it's the idea is we are living in a time of moral bankruptcy and moral relativism, and I know that's one of the themes that both of you gentlemen stand for, and I really respect both of you for that. This starts teaching concepts like personal responsibility and good versus evil at that level, at the level of a child. Now, it's the first in a series. In my next book, which hasn't been published yet, it takes place when they're older, they're in high school, it's a little deeper, a little darker. But the idea would be that earlier in a person's life, they could start wrestling with these concepts. It's a fun book. It has a lot of humor in it. It's bittersweet. It has a very unpredictable ending. One of my degrees is in Bible, the other one is in theater, so I'm just as opinionated about theater, and I can't stand the predictable endings that we have in Hollywood these days with so many films. And this is, I guarantee you, nobody will guess the ending of this story till they're right on top of it. So it's a quick read. It's an easy read. I've been getting wonderful comments about it so far. And I'm very, very excited that it was finally published.
Okay, that is super, really fun, Bob. Now this is just more of a practical question. Did you self-publish this via their?
Yes, I did. I self-published this. I've published things the other ways too. I have some plays and things, and of course a lot of articles in the column that are sent to honest-to-goodness publishers and editors. This one I self-published, and I was glad for that because it gave me complete control. Like I said, it is such a unique story, a unique ending. I just didn't want anybody saying, well, we need to change this or change that to make this more marketable. And there was a time when self-publishing was much more difficult because you had the warehouse, you have books. The internet has really changed all of that because they now have print on demand. It's very easy now to self-publish. Of course, it's only going to catch on if you actually have something to say and you've written a good story. So I'll hope that this thing takes off. From the feedback I'm getting so far, I'm feeling very positive about it.
All right. Yeah, so obviously with you using the term self-responsibility and determining your own future and so forth, like Howsam, you were obviously, racist because this is code language. I'm obviously being facetious, right? Code language for all of the evil things that us right-wingers believe, Bob.
Yeah, and in many ways, this book doesn't so much get into those issues. The closest it comes to politics is one line where this eccentric Aunt Lorene is kind of a Mary Poppins, and she's a school teacher, and this kid. By the way, I should tell you, the main kid in the book, his name is Mike. His name is Mike.
Oh, yeah? So, oh, yeah. No, I read it.
The perfect book for the two Mikes. It's about a guy named. But his Aunt Lorene will tell him these little known facts, and one of them is she mentions that pet cats are actually very intelligent and can even talk, but the reason they don't is there's this understanding amongst cats all over the world that if anybody ever knew how intelligent they were, they would put them to work, and then the cats wouldn't be able to do nothing but eat and sleep all day. So the dad, the kid's dad, of course, is very skeptical, and his sister Lorene, and he doesn't like her eccentric ideas. He makes a little sarcastic remark. He goes, "Oh, so what you're saying is cats are Democrats."
There we go.
And then from the point of view of the kid, he goes, "Well, I didn't really know what to think about that because whenever adults talk about Democrats and Republicans and stuff, I never understand what they're talking about." So that's the closest I come to.
That's a great analogy.
That's so funny. So,
job,
Bob, we're just about out of time here, brother. Where can people find this? What's the easiest way for them to find it?
The easiest way is the most conventional sites. Amazon.com, you can get a print version, or you can get it on your Kindle. BarnesandNoble.com, you can get it on a Nook. It's also it's going to be up on iTunes soon. I don't think it's up on iTunes yet, but you can get a print version on Amazon and Kindle. It's really cheap. It's really fun for like $3.50 or something. A print version is about $12 or so, but it just depends. I still enjoy. When it went up on Kindle before I got the first print copy in my hand, I'm still from the old school. To me, there's nothing more exciting than holding a book in your actual hand. But I've been entering the age of the internet, kicking and screaming one step at a time. So definitely you can download it to your e-readers as well.
Okay, that's awesome. Bob, thank you so much for going on, man. Keep up the great work, and we will talk to you soon.
Mike and Michael, it was a pleasure. Thank you both.
All right, thanks, Bob. So, Miller, did you see the guy's written 14 plays?
I did not see that part.
Yeah, 14 plays.
Fun guest.
Yeah, totally.
Time flies.
He has a radio show, man, so he can sit there and talk about all this stuff, and he's just as passionate about all the exact same issues we are all day long.
Been around a little bit longer than maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no. And he's spot on. I mean, he's like you and I. Everyone knows we are. So how could it be any different, right?
Exactly.
All right.
So, Mike, we've got less than a minute left. Again,
yeah. First hour down. Looking forward to Patty at the bottom of the next hour. But fun
Yeah, so according to my notes, we've got 27 things to hit in 30 minutes. So here's the deal, folks. Hold on to the break. We'll be right back. You are listening to The Right Mics with Mike Miller and Michael Hausum. And what we'll do, Miller, is we'll just take 90 seconds per topic.
I think we should do that, and then we can just post the cliff notes or the full thing on the site.
Yeah, let's see if that could possibly happen.
Listen, we're out.
This is your Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for Monday, February